want a fur, not a secondhand coat. I want a yacht, not a cheap little boat. I tell my daddy not to be depressed. All I need for happiness is the best. I want a diamond, nothing else has appeal. And when it comes to men, you know how I feel. I want a real man. Give me a real man, you know what I mean. I want a real man. Oh, real man, you're what I need.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to Real Men. This is the men's magazine show for men and about men, where men get real. I'm your host, Tim Steeves, and we have a great one today. Let's meet our panel of all-star yackers to break it down. We have Chuck Byrn here with us today. How are you, Chuck?
Not a regular yacker. They're all-star yackers.
That's right. Not just any yahoo.
I'm going to go pro someday.
Lori Elliott is here as well. Nice to see you, Laura.
Thanks to be seen.
And Steve Brinder is with us. Good to see you, Steve-O.
Nice to be here to yak.
Nice job. And Jean-Paul joined us as well. Nice to see you, JP.
What's happening?
JP's going to hold it down right now, actually, with the commentary. Go ahead, man.
Historically, men have equated having hair as a sign of virility. Let's look back. Samson, Elvis Presley, and more presently, Fabio. Men look at male pattern baldness or losing their hair as a sign of losing their masculinity, even getting older. But I say that's not a problem. Embrace it. Hold it. Because like I'm saying, fellas, it doesn't matter if you're going bald. Leave all those things alone, man. Leave the trying to regain your youth, regain your youth with all those hair growth products. Leave that alone. The hair plugs, leave that alone. The toupees, leave that alone. And more so, the dreaded comb over, leave that alone. It's not a bad thing going bald, fellas. I've shaved my head. I look good. I mean, I didn't do it because I was into this chick, but, you know, okay, that was why I did it. But going bald isn't a bad thing, fellas. It's trying to not go bald is where the problem comes in. So I say, leave that alone, and in the immortal words of the most famous bald guy ever, who loves you, babe? Tim?
Nice job, baby. Well, that's easy coming from a black man. They look cool. They look great with the bald head, don't they, Lori? Have you ever dated a bald guy?
I have dated. I've dated a few bald guys and a few guys who have were in the process of, and it doesn't faze me at all. I think it's how you, it doesn't. Why are you shaking your head at me?
Oh, it's horrible.
Lie! I think Lori, no, but maybe Lori is just not very shallow.
Exactly.
I think it looks bad when guys are trying to really, really fight it. I mean,
Totally.
if I was a woman, and I'm not, I think it would be more sexy to see a man embrace that and be happy with it than to fight it all the way.
But I think you also have to, you have to equate the terror involved in losing your hair when you're young. I mean, I went to school with a guy who was 22 years old and losing his hair fast.
Yeah.
And he was terrified because he knew once he lost his hair, he was going to look 40. And sure, he was going to look 40 for the rest of his life, but he was going to look 40. And at 22, that's terrifying.
See, I hate it.
Steve, you're getting a little thin up there, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get a shot of that.
No.
See if we can get it.
Grind it in there, just grind it in there.
Now what we do is we spray the paint all over the area.
Leave him alone.
The spray paint. The spray paint, you put it on, and it gets hot, and it starts melting down your face.
Have you tried the spray paint?
I will not. But I'm just terrified of that.
I heard about it on
The terrible is,
TV.
like, we're both balding. I'm balding from up here. You got it. You're balding. I say up here. It looks like you bend down. It looks like a baboon's ass. Okay. I hate it. I hate it. And you're right. I'm telling you. The first time I started losing my hair, the first thing I was thinking, okay, I'm getting in touch with my mortality here. Okay, because when you're young, you think you live forever. But this is one of those first signs. And and people make fun of you. That's the thing. Like, it's funny. It's not funny.
Guys
Do not make
fun
bald
of
jokes.
guys.
It
Women
ain't.
never make fun of guys when it comes to. I don't understand
part of the joy
that.
of being a guy with a full head of hair.
I just don't.
You get so little joy out of life as a man to be able to push down another man by his huge, bald, shiny cranium makes you feel good.
So that's it. That's it.
I say leave the money that you spend on the Rogaine and the toupees and the hair plugs and put that into a nice investment package,
for
get
sure.
a car, and the women will love you.
Be a rich bald dude.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
Guys
I'm
are spending
saying.
a lot of money on plugs, on Rogaine, on everything.
That's what I'm saying.
But Yeah, but I figure if you can afford to spend 10 grand on a hair transplant, odds are
no,
you're
it's
doing
more
okay
than that.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what
20,000 for plugs, painful and stuff
It's
like
creepy
that.
too. Like it's creepy, and the toupees freak me out. I used to work at a bar where people went who were like divorced and 50 plus, and I had this guy come up to me at the end of the night, and he was bald and he was wasted, and he was like, and I was like, what? And he goes, and he was trying to say, have you seen my toupee?
Oh.
Because you lost
Why would
it.
a guy
What?
buy it? Why would a guy buy a toupee? They're so ugly.
They're
so obviously.
expensive.
But they
They're
look
not
like a
all-
doormat.
they're
They look
not
like a
all ugly.
doormat.
No,
Oh,
really,
if
if
you
you
can
can afford
afford a
hey,
good one.
Shatner, Bill Shatner's got one. It's like worth
Well,
$30,000
Yeah,
bucks.
it's
he's
mink
geared
or
up though. He's
something.
had a few bad ones too, and then you
Oh,
run into
yeah.
you run
Oh,
into
yeah, he's
problems.
upgraded. He's
Oh, yeah,
upgraded.
look like a helmet.
But you do run into problems because you get like the Chuck Heston toupee where it's this full head of hair but only in a circle and then thin on the
But
side.
you know it's a toupee, though. You're not fooling anybody. People
Well,
go,
of course.
toupee,
With
Well, when you
anything
see a
you
90-year-old man with a thick, luxurious head of hair,
Yeah.
something's going on that isn't real.
And it's creepy. It's creepy.
it does
With
look bad.
anything you do, it doesn't matter what it is or how much it costs. Women know, men know. You know.
Everyone
You've got
knows.
straight hair down here and curly hair
Yeah.
up here. How did that happen?
It's funny because no one wants to say anything. It's like, oh my God, that's a toupee that he's got.
Nobody wants to
Yeah.
say anything when you got your fly open either. You know, people they don't want to directly say anything. They'll whisper about it always.
Yeah, but
That's the
would
way
you-
it works. But I think you're also lucky with Tim mentioned this is guys that have color to them can shave their heads and pull it off much better than white. I mean, I shave my head. I don't look like a tough, cool guy. I look like a prison bitch. That's exactly what I look like.
I look like
Prison bitch
Nosferatu.
bird.
Yeah, I look like
Even with your hair,
freakish
you look
wrestler.
like a prison
You're
bitch.
right.
It's either that or how's the chemo going?
Yeah,
right.
one
You know,
of the
those
two.
are the white guy options, right? That's a good segment, guys. We're going to come back after this break and talk about athlete as role model. Once they cash in for the millions, do they have a responsibility to the kids? We're coming right back on Real Men, where men get real. Hey, welcome back to the show. You're watching Real Men. We're joined this segment by Gary Hudson. Thanks for coming in, Gary.
Hey, thanks. Nice to be here.
Gary's a big-time actor, kickboxer, dude. He's been in all kinds of things. Roadhouse that's awesome. He
Yep.
was in Roadhouse.
Fun movie.
That was a great film, man. Jeff Healey behind the chicken wire and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Paradise
And we're gonna-
Falls. Gotta remember that.
Yeah.
Paradise Falls here in Canada.
Paradise Falls as well, of course. And this segment, we're going to talk about athlete as role model. And to kick it off, here's Chuck Byrn. Go ahead, Chuck.
Should athletes be role models? Maybe. Your kids look up to them, but there's no getting around the fact that your kids are going to look up to anyone who's taller than them, really. You just have to pick the right role models. Kids understand that Michael Jordan is a class player and that Dennis Rodman is a freak. They understand that on a level. Doesn't mean they don't like Dennis Rodman. It just means as a parent, you should probably tell them to try and lead a life a little more like Mike. But why do kids want to be like Mike in the first place? Because the Coca-Cola Corporation tells them to. Be like Mike, or we'll kick you out of our country and you won't have any more cola. Huh? Scary. But kids have to look up to somebody. Athletes are who they're watching. Athletes are who they're probably going to end up looking up to. Tim?
Nice job, Chuck. Grab some cushions, man, and we'll talk about this. What do you think, Gary? Do the guys have a responsibility? They cash in, they get the $10 million signing bonus.
I
and
think
then-
they do have a responsibility, but the unfortunate thing is we have so much media hype today. Back in the days of Maris and Mantle, they were role models, but the media protected them. They didn't talk about what they did after hours. They didn't talk about the womanizing.
Babe Ruth was one of the worst
What,
partiers.
Mickey Mantle, all of these guys,
But they
major
were also,
boozer.
they were also told that if you're going to do that stuff, keep it underground.
No, the press protected them. They had guys that went around with the team.
But the
and they
press
didn't talk
protected
about
them.
it.
But they also knew there was also an understanding in society at that time that if you're going to be up to no good, be up to no good, but don't be all obvious about it.
Oh, you know what? That's not true.
No, that's
Mantle
not
and
true,
Maris
is it,
were
Gary?
so obvious about it. The press didn't report today. Today, the players are put on these pedestals, but then they go out and they go gambling in
When
Vegas.
Joe
They let
Namath
some
hit the
steam
town
off,
of New
as we
York,
all
man,
do, and they
when
just
Joe
like
Namath
let
would
him
hit the
go.
town of New York, he wasn't doing it, with the
Yeah, I
big
know.
fur coat, and he's hitting the biggest clubs, and it was
We're
on.
Jerry Springer society, so
Yeah.
we like sensationalism, so we bring everything out in the open. You set a guy up, and then you bring him down, and unfortunately, that's the way we're living these days.
That's what sells
Exactly.
now. That's what
Yeah.
sells.
But it's also what
finding-
sells, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
But
like-
I do think that athletes have a responsibility
I don't
to be
think
a
they
role
do at
model.
all.
I think they do. When you're making that kind of money, man, it's like Spider-Man said,
Absolutely.
with
Yeah.
great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And I still believe in that. You're
Spidey
being
said
paid an exorbitant amount of money. It's the least you can do.
But not only
So are
that,
drug dealers.
Let's get Steve.
Drug dealers are being paid an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah, but drug dealers isn't a league. It's not. It's not
dealers aren't
it's not
being
like, how do I
seen
break into
on-
this league?
Drug dealers
play
aren't being seen on
baseball with
TV.
each
But if you're going to base it solely on money, I think that's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, the guy's making a lot of money, yeah, but the reason why kids are looking up to him is because he's on TV.
Yeah, but there's codes of
about it, Steve-O?
conduct. There's
Let's
codes
get
of
Steve in
conduct
here.
in the league, man. They tell you you can't do this and you can't do that.
Yeah, but
think
when
they're
they do
athletic-
that, they don't punish them.
But they're athletic
Exactly.
mercenaries. They're athletic mercenaries. These guys aren't loyal. Before, this guy was a player for your team. These guys leave in a second for whatever the money is. You watch them on television. They make a touchdown. They act like jerks. You know, I don't want my kid to do this. You know what I see, too? When I teach phys ed, sometimes in schools, these kids now, when you divide them into groups, they don't want to go in that group because they're going to lose. You know, here's like a Lindros kind of character. What a jerk he was. You know, play for Quebec for 1 year, just 1 year. What's the big deal? You know,
It's Quebec.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Hold
He
on.
needs
What
it, they
about,
want you.
let's talk about all the guys that are good role models. Like, let's take like a John Stockton or Karl Malone. Those dudes out west, right? They don't get any publicity. When you play by the rules and walk the line and you're a good
Hey, look,
man and a family guy.
Michael Jordan's a great guy playing his golf tournament. He does a lot for charity, but Michael Jordan can go into Vegas and put down some bets, and all of a sudden, oh, he's not a good role model.
No, but
He is a
Gary, if he's
person.
dropping 800, last time
But that's his business.
800,000
It shouldn't
on
be
the craps
reported, just
table.
like politicians are role models. Should Bill Clinton's personal life be brought out into the public? I mean, Europe was laughing. The rest of the world was laughing at what
the rest of the world's laughing, but
actors the same way.
But you also have to keep in mind that if you're going to be a politician or a sports figure, you know you're going to be in the spotlight. You also know.
Yep.
Don't sleep with interns, because if you
And
do,
what's your
the entire
responsibility?
world is going to try and find out.
Kennedy slept with the entire world. He put a.
But he did it in a time when he knew
I know,
the
but
press would
that's
protect
the
him.
problem. Our
Clinton
society
did it at a
is-
time
our
when he
soc-
knew the press was out to get him.
Yep, but we
But what's the
should
responsibility?
protect our athletes.
What
We
is
should
the
protect our politicians
What's the
better,
responsibility of
I
an
think.
athlete? What does he owe his city that he works in or plays in?
Yeah,
and what does he for his fans? What does his
Nothing.
responsibility
It's
to
not
his
even
fans?
with his fans. It has to do with
Nothing.
just the way
Nothing?
his
He doesn't-
demeanor
so why
in
do we cheer
general.
this guy? He's a punk then.
He does owe them something because
What
he's
does he owe them?
representing the team. It's like,
They
you know
pay
what?
him.
Yeah, they pay him money to wear.
I think those guys
let's
should
just
go
say
out
we
and
play
do
for
charity,
the
you know.
I agree.
Chuck
I think-
Jazz.
yeah, but
and,
you
you
see,
know what?
all
I
that
represent
loyalty-
you. I represent you. So obviously you're not going to want an idiot representing you.
And
Plus,
when
they
I
also
wear
want
your
18 years
uniform,
old
I
when they get
represent
this money.
you. When I leave the stadium, I don't represent anybody but my giant
But you're
pile
a
of
role
money.
model.
That's
But
not
you're a
true.
role model.
You're
You
still-
have to
you're
make
still-
you're
me a
still
role
under
model.
If you're a
contract.
school
We
teacher,
are. You're playing
if
the sport. You
if
know
you're
that's
any
what's
type
gonna
of
go with
job,
your
whether you're a
job.
corporate
You're still
head, a
under
school teacher, a
contract.
fireman, a
All right.
policeman, you're under a certain type of
Good
scrutiny
job, panel.
in your life.
Nice job, Gary. Good job, panel. We're off to a hot start today on Real Men. So Chucky Doll just thinks, much like Charles Barkley, I'm not raising your kid, baby. You better raise your
Raise your own
kid.
damn
We're coming back after this on Real Men. We're going to be talking about gender politics. Where are you going to meet the babes? How are you going to meet the babes when we come back?
I know, I'm just...
Where does single guy go to meet women?
The gym. We're having a discussion. I don't answer the question.
Well, you know, it's a give and take thing.
Okay. Oh, you want to know where else to meet me?
Yeah, whatever.
You're my friends, out and about. Yeah, just be friendly, talk to people, say hello. You never know where you meet anybody, right?
Welcome back to Real Men. Gary Hudson's joined us today, and I don't know if I'm more impressed with Walker, Texas Ranger, or Roadhouse, but that's just fun stuff, man. That's cool. And Paradise Falls, of course. Let's get the segment started with Lori Elliott. We're talking about where to meet women. Now, Lori, where do we meet a sweet baby like you? What do we do?
Yes.
Well, were I to go to yoga, you could meet me at yoga. But where you don't want to meet me is when I've had a couple of drinks at a bar. I think meeting people at bars is ridiculous. Unless you want to just go out and try and get laid, then that's fine. But if you want to go out and meet somebody to, hang out with for a long time,
Are you
do it
telling me if I go to a
somewhere else at
bar, I
work.
might get laid?
You might. You never know.
That's
That's when I
she
start
said that,
talking-
Chuck.
Might, and bye-bye.
If I start telling you my dad's the mayor of Burlington, you know you have a chance with me because I'm a little bit loopy. But I think the bar thing is not a good idea. Somewhere where you can talk to them and they're not creeped out by the fact that you're talking to them.
JP, where do you meet women, man?
This is gonna sound really weird, but I don't really go anywhere to meet women. I
They come to you.
That's right.
Is that right?
I
Puts
know.
out the JP vibe and waits.
Call me.
He's got a 1-800 number.
Yeah, he put his ad in the paper and just wait for the phone to ring.
No, I mean, I think regular places, because like you said, if you go to a bar, you pretty much know what people's intentions are, like to get drunk and hopefully get laid. But I mean, go to obscure places. Like,
Come on, the internet, computer, that's where you're doing it.
That's
More and more
that's
people are
easy.
doing it.
Oh,
yeah.
More and more people are meeting on that.
Libraries,
They are.
libraries,
I think at bars they expect you. At
malls,
bars they're expecting you to come on
malls
to
is a
them.
cool place.
At the
It
mall?
depends what kind of woman you want to meet, too.
Daycares,
Grocery
I mean,
store.
if you want to meet a girl who drinks, occasionally smokes, and likes to have sex on the weekend, go to the bar. If you want to meet a girl who can carry on a conversation and is interesting, you might have better luck at the library.
I've never
Thank
met
you.
all the
But there's
girls
no
I've had
talking
long
in the
relationships I've
library.
met. I met a girl from Montreal who I was first with on an elevator. One was outside of an audition, and one was in the grocery store. I swear to God, in the grocery
That's the
store.
trifecta.
Yeah, but
look
I
at
started
you.
talking to
Anybody
this
will
girl
talk
in the
to
grocery
you.
store.
Like you have trouble.
Yeah, Chuck.
Put on the Speedos
Oh,
and go
come on
thump
now.
cantaloupes
Come
for
on.
the afternoon. They're lining up.
Not true.
I always think a
Not
great
true.
place to meet someone is a party, just a small party.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Party.
Because you've got limited space, limited people. You can go somewhere and talk
Maybe
to them.
friends
and
in
have a
common,
conversation.
Steve, for the introduction.
Sure, for
Yeah, that's
sure.
what I
Yeah,
mean.
like something like that.
Most women I meet are through
Yeah.
friends or acquaintances or
Maybe at work. What about at work, Chuck? We've got a hell of a crew here.
yeah, at work. Yeah, but that's I mean I work as a comic primarily, and that's
Clubs.
basically a bar. But
Yeah.
the interesting thing about that is, as a comedian, is generally you're meeting these women right after they've seen you do a show. So their perception of you is that's the guy they're meeting.
Yeah.
And it
for
isn't.
most comics, the guy who's on stage is much more alive and together than the
I-
guy
That's
off
right.
stage.
sure.
He's confident.
I used to meet
Oh,
girls.
yeah, he's chock full of
I used to be in the
confidence.
Comedy Store Players. I did improv with Robin Williams, John Larroquette. We were all in this group, and you meet a lot of women there doing improv.
But don't you
Because
think
women,
And then you
Doing
kick them in
improv.
the face.
women always
exactly,
say their
exactly.
first criteria is a sense of humor. They always want a guy that's going to make them
right.
laugh.
I don't go
Guys
for
always
that
say
at
they
all.
want a woman who cooks like mom.
Yeah.
Really?
You know what
No,
I think?
they don't.
It's also,
You
I
want a
think,
woman who
Surprised I've got as far as I have.
One at a time.
I think if you've got your receptors going, if you're aware of where you are and you have a self-confidence, you can meet them anywhere. I don't,
Yeah.
and if you're, and reversely, if you're really shy, you're screwed anywhere you go because you give that vibe off. So I think, you
But
can
some
meet
women
someone.
like shy men. Some women like the guy.
Yeah, but
who's
it's
kind of-
harder. I think
Absolutely,
it's much harder.
especially
It is
women
harder.
women
It's
who are
much
used to
harder.
being hit on by guys who really have a lot of patter and are pretty slick. Guy comes up all nervous, they know he means it. I mean, that
Yeah,
doesn't,
I don't think
that's
so.
fine.
Now, women
I don't
are
think so.
turned on by a sense of self-confidence and self-assuredness. It's like, you know what, you're going home with me.
Women are turned on by honesty too, though, JP. If you
Yeah.
walk up and you're scared to death, she'll be like, "Oh, look at this guy. He's scared to death, but he's still has the nads to come up and talk to me. That's cool. That'll work."
But then
Don't
there's
feel like you have to
Likely.
be
The problem,
slick.
the problem is there isn't one universal key.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's an
no.
energy thing. It's an energy.
And there are
It's-
a lot of women who get all women aren't the most confident. A lot of women are very insecure, and if they have someone come up to them and start talking to them, some of them, like me, are like, "Why are you coming? What's wrong with you? Why are you coming
Yeah,
up to
Gary
me?"
Hudson.
you
I mean,
know?
how's he going to get over
What kind of loser?
Right, whatever.
What kind of loser are you to be talking to a loser like me?
it? Lori, where did you meet your last boyfriend, Lori?
At work. At work, I've met so many of my boyfriends at work.
Where at work?
I've worked at bars.
Oh, at bars.
And so you get to know, working at a bar is way different than working at an
You're
office
hanging
because
out.
there's way
At a
more
restaurant,
sexual.
like if you like to try to go to a
jargon.
waitress or a bartender, then you can come in and you start talking to them, and that works.
Yeah.
One woman
works.
says she likes hanging around in hardware stores because a guy who can fix his own toilet is a real man to her. So she hangs out in hardware stores and talks to guys,
Yeah, sure. He's a plumber or something.
Butch-loving chick.
I still think the grocery store is the best place because women
Is
aren't
it?
expecting it. They're not on guard. So if you start talking to a girl in a grocery store, you can really.
Do you
I'm
hang
telling
around the melon
Steve, I'm not
section?
sure I'd be
Billions in LA.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure I'd be
squeeze your
attracted to
melon.
some
Careful what you have in your
skank hanging
basket.
out by the nail box. I don't know
Oh,
what
right
that
away
was
she's
about.
a skank.
Bananas,
Nice melons.
Let's go check out the cucumbers
What do you think about this?
together.
What do you think about this banana here?
But the internet is a place I'm just fascinated by people.
Sorry, Steve, I got to
Oh.
interrupt you, buddy. Sorry,
Oh,
man.
I'm sorry.
Let's jump out of here, sell some stuff. We're going to come right back. We're talking about where to meet women today on Real Men.
what?
Coming right back.
A buddy of mine is on this website, internet website.
Hey, welcome back to Real Men. Gary Hudson jumped in with us today, and we're talking about where to pick up girls, women, if you will. Lori contradicted herself, I thought, in the last segment. She opens by, no, not in bars. You just want to get laid. And then by the end of the segment, where have you met all your boyfriends, Laura? Bars at work.
Yeah, but that's because I worked at the bar and
Right.
I've dated the chefs that worked in the restaurant.
Oh,
so we
yeah,
worked
sure.
together. We didn't
Those guys
drink
are always
together.
so attractive.
Because they can really cook.
Fat guys.
Oh,
Big,
the
huge
chefs are
guys,
awesome. Going out with dating a chef. My boyfriend makes me amazing meals. We have great wines and stuff. It's
guys ever have sex?
awesome.
You ever
See,
watch
I
the
could-
Killing
And,
Eve?
yes.
And he cleans up after.
And we have
I couldn't do that because I used to work at a bar. I used to be a bouncer, and I used to have Saturday night things. Because of the Roadhouse.
There we go.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a Roadhouse reference.
Yep.
But I think a great place to meet women, Singapore, Thailand,
Yeah,
Philippines.
Is that right? Yes.
You know what? I did two films in Bulgaria, and Eastern European women are not only they're nice, but they're gorgeous, and they love people from North America. So I suggest going to Bulgaria, Russia,
You look like you have
Cuba.
toilet
Cuba's
paper.
also a great place.
Hold on now. If you've got the jack to
Yeah.
go to Bulgaria, is picking up girls your biggest problem? Really, probably.
So I did 2 movies there, so I was there
Right, you're
working.
all
But
set.
it was Bulgaria.
yeah.
Women are beautiful. I mean, I'm talking
I
beautiful.
wish they all could be bald.
Last thoughts, Steve-O. Steve-O, last thoughts, buddy.
Oh, man.
Where do you think?
I think if you try looking
Bulgarians,
for it, it's not going to come. You just got to be patient. My man JP always says, "Be cool," and it'll come to you. But you have to give out the right receptors. Like you're, confident and you're willing to meet people.
But you're
and it's just
thinking
gonna
about
happen.
Bulgaria, right?
Oh, Bulgaria. When I think
You're
of
kinda
chicks,
thinking about it?
Bulgarian chicks.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, you'll never
I
come
know.
back.
Once you go Bulgarian, you never
never
come
come
back.
back.
And for the
Exactly.
brothers, white girls. Definitely
Oh, yeah.
white girls.
When we ask
my
people,
God.
Chuck, when we ask people in the street this question, women, we said, where do we meet you guys? 9 out of 10 told us yoga class. You buy that? I mean,
yeah, baby.
it sounds good on paper.
That's great, but you put me in a yoga class and it's basically a Chris Farley sketch.
Pretty much.
You'll love yoga.
Who let Poppin fresh in the class? Close him in the stomach.
Hey, why does that guy keep soiling himself?
But you got
all the beautiful
a
women
sense of humor,
untangling you,
and
though.
women love guys with sense of humor.
Okay,
Don't you
we're
know,
out of
Chuck?
time, but before we go, I want Gary to give us the delivery of that line with the woman in the stockroom on Roadhouse. Just give us a quick
Deliver it
rip.
to me.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Here it
we'll
goes.
make
You gotta
you
be
gotta
behind you.
stand up.
Quickly,
We'll
we're
make
almost
my
out of time.
regular Saturday night thing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining us on Real Men, where men get real. Thanks, Gary.
Shakespearean. I love Shakespearean.
Throw a little Southern in there.
But do that. What was the line with the
That was great.
I can't believe I said